During my research, I've been predominantly focused on the Stonewall UK archives, especially their timeline from 1951 to 2017, which explores key dates in LGBT equality. This timeline predominantly focuses on legislation and various other legal evolutions in LGBT history. So in this video, I'm going to explore a few of the first LGBT members of Parliament and their impact on LGBT history. So to begin, we're going to start in 1974, a point in history in which homosexual relations between men were decriminalised, but same-sex marriage was expressly forbidden by UK law. This was also a point when Maureen Colquhoun was elected as Labour MP for Northampton North. Colquhoun was an outspokenly feminist Member of Parliament and frequently commented on women's issues, such as in 1975 when she criticised the Labour Party conference for not providing adequate support for young women to allow them to have childcare while they attended the conference, and therefore were overall prevented from attending the conference. In that same year, Colquhoun left her husband, Sunday Times journalist Keith Colquhoun, for Barbara Todd, the publisher of a different magazine, Sappho, a lesbian publication aiming to educate society about the true facts of lesbianism, support lesbians and women's causes. In March 76, the pair held a housewarming party for friends, family and some members of the Labour Party, to which the gossip columnist Nigel Dempster attempted to surreptitiously acquire an invitation. Colquhoun complained to the Press Complaints Commission, which ruled in the couple's favour, but the damage was already done, as later that year, details of the event appeared in the Daily Mail's gossip column. This resulted in the couple's home, as well as those of their families, being besieged by press and journalists, and the pair's appeals to the editor of the Daily Mail appeared to fall on deaf ears. Colquhoun did provide an interview for Gay News, however, declaring that my sexuality has nothing whatever to do with my ability to do my job as an MP, in October 1977. This was in rebuttal to those who believed otherwise. For a month prior, the local Labour Party chairman Norman Ashman said Colquhoun was elected as a working wife and mother, and this business has blackened her image irredeemably. Others seem to agree, as 23 to 18 of her constituency party's General Management Committee voted to deselect her. This was overruled in January of 1978 by the National Executive Committee, who was lobbied by Colquhoun's supporters. However, in 1979, Colquhoun would lose her seat to Anthony Marlowe, ending her period as the only lesbian MP in the Houses of Commons. It would take 10 years after Colquhoun's appointment in 1974 for another MP to come out about their sexual orientation, but in 1984, the Labour MP for Islington South and Finsbury, Chris Smith, became the first openly gay MP. Unlike Colquhoun, whose sexuality had been revealed by the press, Smith's choice to come out was clear and personal. At a rally in Rugby against the town council potentially banning gay employees from work, Smith began his speech, "Good afternoon, I'm Chris Smith. I'm the Labour MP for Islington South and Finsbury, and I'm gay." Smith remained in office, and after many years in the shadow cabinet, in 1997, he was made part of Tony Blair's cabinet as the Secretary of State for Culture, Media and Sports. He remained there until 2001, after which he spent years in the backbenches. In 2005, he revealed that he was HIV positive in a Sunday Times article entitled "Why This Is My Time to Break My HIV Silence." This made him the first Member of Parliament to reveal this information. Smith then stepped down later that year as a Member of Parliament, but in April was awarded with a life peerage and is now formally known as Baron of Finsbury. The 1997 election not only had the first Secretary of State for Culture, Media and Sports, but also saw the election of the first openly gay MP at the time of election. 97 was a heavily anticipated election, as after 18 years of Conservative dominance, first helmed by Margaret Thatcher and then John Major, Labour's facelift under Tony Blair and New Labour finally seemed to make Labour an electable option in comparison to the fumbling and fractioning party of the past. Now it was the Conservative Party that seemed to be rupturing, sleaze and scandal easing a path towards Labour victory. This was epitomised in the election of Stephen Twigg, an openly gay candidate for Enfield Southgate, who beat out Michael Portillo, a candidate for the Conservative Party tipped to be the next party leader. Twigg was then followed by Ben Bradshaw, MP for Exeter, another openly gay candidate at the time of his election, and then later that year Angela Eagle became the first voluntarily out lesbian Member of Parliament. This was endemic of the new Labour image Tony Blair was attempting to cultivate, with its emphasis on education, 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 equal opportunity and social justice. This is further seen in the appointment of Lord Ali. In 1998, Wahid Ali was made the first openly gay member of the House of Lords. The BBC expressed his appointment as the antithesis of the stereotypical establishment peer, young, Asian and from the world of media and entertainment. 1 year into his peerage, after a 6-hour-long debate in the House of Lords on the Sexual Offences Amendment Bill, which aimed to equalise the age of consent of homosexual relationships, Lord Ali made an evocative speech. My lords, many of your lordships will know that I am openly gay. I am 34. I was gay when I was 24, when I was 21, when I was 20, when I was 19, when I was 18, when I was 17, and even when I was 16. I have never been confused about my sexuality. I have been confused about the way I am treated as a result of it. The only confusion lies in the prejudice shown, some of it tonight and much of it enshrined in the law. In the speech, Ali cites some of his personal experiences with the Act, and he finishes with a poem by the German Lutheran pastor Martin Niemöller. First they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. In tonight's vote, I should like your lordship to speak out for me and millions like me, not because you agree or disagree, or because you approve or disapprove, but because if you do not protect me in this house, you protect no one. This act was eventually passed 2 years later in 2001. In a sense, Ali is the epitome of the new Labour image Blair was cultivating, and therefore all of the changes in Britain that had happened to lead up to this point. However, his appointment is also a strong embodiment of the progress made by the LGBTQ+ community in the 20th century. From Maureen Cahoon being outed by the press in the 1970s to Lord Ali being able to stand up for people like him in the Houses of Parliament, it's an inspiring narrative. But it also shows the importance of having LGBTQ+ voices in Parliament, and somewhat changes the narrative of how equality before the law was achieved. Not through the inevitability of time, but through tireless efforts from people within the LGBTQ+ community and the communities themselves, and being able to use their own voices to stand up for people like them.